Hey everybody, this is Echoed Influence Season 4, Episode 1, Epic Comebacks, and I am here as always with...
Anthony Spartacus Tamayo.
And I'm Modest Betty. And Anthony, you want to tell them a little bit about some of the events that we're hoping to put together in the next couple of...
Yeah, sure. I just first of all want to welcome everybody back and thank you guys for sticking with us throughout this whole endeavor. We have been talking about a video game night at the Collab, and we got a lot of people excited when we put up that post and everything. And so, if you're interested in something like that, throw us some ideas or whatever. But we have someone willing to donate a Switch. We have a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Mainly fighting games and things that are going to get people circulating and through all that. We also got an awesome Game of Thrones night that we want to do on the premiere of the 8th season. And when we were doing, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but we were at the Love Gallery event and we were just asking people what they would think about that, and that was a really positive response. So we're going to do our best to go forward with that one.
So... speaking of Love Gallery, what do you want to tell them that we've been up to?
Yeah, well, the Love Gallery was an awesome success. We got at least 200 people filtering in and out of there. A lot of people, all our vendors made money. We had an amazing saxophone player named Emmanuel. I went up there and it was really romantic settings. April did an amazing job doing the decorations and everything. It felt really enchanting and stuff like that. How did you enjoy it, AP? How did you enjoy it?
It was nice. I worked really hard all week, the week before, and trying to do decorations and everything, and so I'm really pleased with the turnout. Definitely.
Yeah, it was just like I'm the kind of guy that goes down to the nitty gritty. I won't start doing my paintings and everything until like the last 3 or 4 days, and so it took a lot out of me. And even the days after, it took a couple days. Like, we were trying to rest, didn't really get a chance to. Everything kept on coming up. So, but at Love Gallery, that's where we were asking the people about Game of Thrones, and I realize a lot of people are fans. They're like real big time fans, and they're interested in the idea of having a night where we all come together and watch the show. And I think that'll really sell.
In the time that we were gone, the Super Bowl also happened. You want to tell them?
Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl. Wow. A lot of people are going to go back and forth and say, you know what? It's boring. It was boring to me, at least, but like defensively, I thought it was very entertaining. But, for the most part, I mean, as a Super Bowl game, you expect more. But whatever, it's no sweat off my skin. Congratulations to the Patriots for winning, and to Tom Brady, all those dudes. I don't know. I don't look at Tom Brady personally. I don't look at him as like the greatest of all time. Even though he has a lot of rings and everything, the rules these days are really different. They protect the quarterback on a whole other level than when Terry Bradshaw was playing. But that's all I have to say about that. The Super Bowl wasn't really that fun for me, but it was watching Lost with my dad. What is so far? I mean, April's the one who showed me Lost, and oh my god, what a great show! I mean, I for a long time, April, I freaking I didn't want to watch it, and for whatever reason, and Pops needed a new show to watch, and we all gathered around, and it's an amazing show. I'm so late to this party.
That's okay. Shows we've been watching. Punisher Season 2 came out.
Yeah, you know what? And what was cool about taking the hiatus in February was giving everybody a chance to watch it, so we don't throw out spoilers and stuff like that. So now, yeah, this Punisher was a really great. It was a great season through and through. Just if I could be a little bit more critical on the idea of Billy Russo, he was an annoying character for me at some point. Like, there was a couple of them that were annoying, but Billy, I didn't expect him to be so back and forth. It was like watching him himself was an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Like, dude, fucking Ted, are you in or are you out? He's fucking with this girl. His face isn't even all that fucked up. He even looked like maybe a little bit more rugged and better looking with all the scars. And I realized that at some point, the Punisher, John Bernthal, his face was more fucked up than Billy's, but the storyline and everything, I thought it was really good. One thing I did want to talk about with the Punisher, like, I noticed that people were upset that the fact, or this is the claim, I don't know if this is true, but the claim was that there were people that were upset about the Punisher shooting these gang members at the end, and some of them were colored. Not all of them were colored, you know. Some of them were white folks, you know. And the Punisher blasts these fools, and everybody's like, "That's racist." And I'm like, "Dog, like, there's gang of every race. This dude's gonna kill him. He don't give a fuck, you know. Like, there's no politics when it comes to the Punisher, really, you know." So I thought that was a bogus claim, if that was even, if it's true and everything.
I didn't really hear too many bad things about Punisher though.
No. As far as reviews go, no. It was just, and I definitely appreciated the character, no matter who plays him. Even, you know, I love Ray Stevenson, Thomas Jane, John Bernthal, fucking Dolph Lundgren. I don't care who's playing him. I love the Punisher. Like, I love to see him as a character. And yeah, I remember talking to some kid at the Purge Poetry a while back about the Punisher. You got to be very careful when you're introducing the Punisher to children. But I couldn't hold my tongue, because there was a kid, he went off on saying like, "Oh, Batman, he's this cool because of that," and he's like, you know, he has no powers. And it's like, yeah, but the Punisher has no powers, and nor does he have money, and he is whooping guys like Batman all the time. Batman himself in that crossover. But yeah, like, and then the kid was just like, "What? Like, I've never heard of this guy." And I hope he didn't go home and start watching it immediately. It's like looking it up.
I'm sure his parents
will regulate.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like, for if anybody's watching or listening to this, you know, get your kids the comics. Start off with the comic books. They're very, very well written, good comics without a lot of cuss words and not a lot of gore in them. Yeah, we're talking Punisher from like the 70s. His first appearance was in the Amazing Spider-Man number 29, 1974, I believe. I also read somewhere that maybe it was in October. Some people say February. It doesn't matter. He's existent because his first appearance was in Spider-Man.
Well, movies aren't the only thing we do. We also, not only do we get a bunch of books from the library, but you also, I got you The Boys Volume 2.
Oh my God. AB, okay, you know, I was really excited about Volume 1. And reading into Volume 2, I am very certain that Garth Ennis and the other co-writers and everything are very particular who they're jabbing at as far as famous fad-loving heroes, you know. And oh man, like, this second volume is really digging into what is Batman. It's this guy Tech Knight who has a Robin character named Ladio, and then there's a Swing Wing who represents, I believe, the Nightwing character, you know, and they are really just deliciously jabbing at the character and how really dumb it really is, you know, how dumb. But when you're looking at it from a certain other angle, you're like, wow, this is dumb. Why does he have a little boy with him? And like, what the real actual outcome and what the real reasons of all what they're doing, you know. It's like, it makes more sense in The Boys, you know. And then the good guys, you know, which are basically all anti-heroes, because they will kill you. They have no fucking really, like, no Boy Scouts in The Boys, but they go and they step in and they kill the evil supers, like the guys who are just too privileged to understand that they're just stepping on people's lives, you know. And oh my God, I love this. I also want to make an announcement about how Seth Rogen is coming out with a show on Amazon. It's The Boys. Mm-hmm. And it's coming out this summer. I am so excited. I wanted Carl Urban to come back and reprise his role as Dredd, but this makes up for it. I'm totally cool with him because he's going to be the Butcher. But yeah, he's being played by Carl Urban, and man, like, what a good pick too. So be on the lookout for The Boys, guys, and I highly recommend you read The Boys. Like, if you love Watchmen, if you love those kind of superhero movies, you're going to love The Boys.
And on the topic of comebacks, the last things that we've been watching a lot of recently have been with Cruise.
Oh, nostalgic comebacks, you know, like, you know, we were watching Hook, we watched Space Jam, and like, now he knows about Michael Jordan, and the first time he sees Michael Jordan playing basketball is against these giant monsters, and he's dunking on them and shit, and then once he finally sees him, like, in action, he's gonna see, like, hardly any difference like I did. He's gonna know that this dude is bad. And one thing that this kid absolutely loves is what, April? What does this kid love to just come and just...
Oh, sit and watch The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. This is something my dad showed him. This is his grandpa, Ed. Oh my God. you could show him what to you is the greatest show in the world, the greatest scenes. You can come at him with your nostalgia and be like, oh, this is what you want to see. Nope. He will toss that aside, maybe fall asleep. He wants to watch Wizard of Oz. And he tells everybody who their character is. Like, you're the Tin Man, I'm the Scarecrow, AP's Dorothy. You know, like he has something going on in his head where he has to see it. And I can't say anything because when I was his age, I repeatedly watched the Ninja Turtles.
Even
Like,
now you repeatedly watch The Office.
hey, hey, it's a good show. Yeah, you know what? But like, yeah, I can't say much, but it's just like every time he wants to watch it, now I'm not gonna stay quiet. I am analyzing the show way too much now, and I came to this conclusion that Glinda's actually the bad guy in the whole thing. So I went ahead and I looked up some fan theories, and wouldn't you know, like I found a more recent one from 2018 about how Glinda's actually the evil witch and all this, because I noticed. You know, me and Cruz will start talking about the show, and he said, like, you know, he sees the sister witch with the house crushed on her, and he's like, who did that? And I'm like, well, yeah, you're right, who did that? Like, it wasn't a tornado, you know, it was Glinda dropped the house. And then when the evil witch showed up, like, she was like, who did it, you know, like basically trying to figure out. And you see Glinda like shift the blame to Dorothy, like, nah, I didn't do that shit, it was her. And then telling her about the power of the slippers at the end. You know, like she could have told her, like, hey, you want to go home, do this right now, you can go home. She didn't do that. She needed her to fulfill a job. She needed her to expose the wizard, which she did, and he left. And she killed the witch, which she's gone, and killed her sister, which she's gone. Now she has ultimate power in all of Oz. So I just personally, I think, and then once Dorothy was done, then she told her so she can leave. So and I guess that calls for the question when Glinda first saw her, like, are you a good witch? Are you a bad witch? Like, am I gonna have to get rid of you? So Glinda, you evil bitch, you did it.
Tricked everybody.
Yeah, I think you're this evil woman. But like, if you guys ever get the chance, I know I'm going to go out of my way soon to get the Wizard of Oz book. It's way more in depth, and I don't know. I'm intrigued by it when I read an article about the characters and stuff, like the whole story of the Wizard of Oz. That is the movie. That when they fight the witch is such a small part of the book. So I want to see. I want to read it. So.
Well, on the topic of comebacks, before we get into it a little bit, do you want to tell me what a comeback is to you? Like, what that means?
Falling at the bottom and breaking the bottom and going even further and climbing out of it. You know what I mean? That's what coming back is to me. You know, an epic comeback. And you know, I've seen it in fights. I've seen it in football games. I've seen it in basketball games. You know, I remember I saw Frankie Edgar fight Gray Maynard, and Gray Maynard and this guy, like, had a grudge match and everything. And they fought, the two times that I've seen them fight, it happened almost the same. Gray Maynard caught Frankie Edgar, and Frankie Edgar's like dazed, and you think Maynard's gonna like put him away with these next few shots, and in fact what he did was wake up Edgar. Like, he fucking snapped back alive, came back up, and then he had one of the more epic comebacks I've ever seen. It just became an epic fight in between there. Towards the end, Gray Maynard just didn't have the stamina, and Frankie Edgar beat him, beat him, you know. And it was just amazing. He did that twice to Gray Maynard, and it was just a really cool thing to see. I seen it in basketball when me and my dad, my dad's a Lakers fan, and I'm a Celtics fan by default, because, like, you know, me and him don't really like the same team. So basketball, I mean, I love to play it, but the teams don't mean that much to me. So of course I'll pick the Celtics. And they were playing each other in the 2008 championship, and I think the Celtics were losing by like 40 plus points. And the most craziest thing happened. They fucking came back and they beat the Lakers.
Wow.
I was really impressed with that. I don't want to rub it in any Lakers faces or anything, but that was fucking cool. You know, like, not like the Celtics didn't have a bunch of stars on their team. Maybe Kevin Garnett, but not stars like Kobe Bryant. They had no Kobe or anything like that. The Lakers did. And, you know, it was really impressive to see the Celtics take it to the hole like that. You know, it was really cool.
How old were you?
This was 2008. I was 18 years old.
Oh, I see.
18, 19, something like that. Yeah.
Adult.
Yeah, I was an adult to enjoy it.
What about any characters that have made an epic comeback?
Well, to me, for me, was Kratos. I thought after God of War 3 or God of War Ascension, that was it. Like there's no reason to bring them back. These are just I believe God of War Ascension was a prequel to something. So after God of War 3, Kratos stabs himself. Spoilers. He stabs himself because it's showing that the only person who could kill Kratos is Kratos. And then he comes back for God of War 4 fighting Nordic gods and stuff like that. It's like, how did he come back? Why did he come back? Where's this going? Like, you realize that not just Kratos came back, but the writer came back. The director, the guy who created him, came back with bigger, better stories and better perceptions on the... And, it was just really... It was one of the greatest comebacks in video games I've ever seen. Next to, like, Spider-Man making his common comebacks. And... I thought God of War was just wow. Like it really made my
Made an impression on you.
my gaming career, But yeah, that's just the thing though, right? Like you can name any superhero that you personally relate to, and you can realize that the one of the rites of passage is to actually actually have their own epic comeback. Every single hero has one. Like like I said, Spider-Man has his epic comeback. Like sometimes he loses to his bad guy and he has to figure out a way to make his comeback, or else he dies. People die. So I think it's a must for each superhero to have their epic comeback in order to... It's like defending your title. You know what I mean?
I see. I think we got a new letter in for Counseling with Comic Book Couples, right, Anthony?
Yeah, let's check this out. So this one is from Cersei. She's an internal, and she's from the comic books and what I read, she's with Makari. And Makari is another Eternal, and just on a side note, Makari is, to me, in competition with DC's Flash. If you read anything about Makari, he's up there. So let me continue. So Cersei, she writes to us, I feel like I've seen this man before. I have such a strange connection with him. He seems to be everywhere I want to be, as if it was inevitable to meet him. Maybe I did meet him in a past life, but I want to be with him in this one. How do I make sure he doesn't run off at Mach speed on me? You know what? For me, just on my side, from what I can say, that you can't really like force something like that to happen. A lot of this stuff has to be built, and even upon building upon it, it could crumble, it could fall at any possible time. The only thing you can do is just give your best intentions and give your best, your all and everything. And if this person really is like your best friend or has your best interests at heart, they won't take that stuff and violate it with you or violate you with it, or hold it against you. They'll see it as an amicable way out. So just be sure, like, whatever intentions you have, they're true, they're there, they're revealing, so that no one's left in the dark and there's no reason to hate anybody in the end. But yeah, just take it one day at a time.
It's good advice, definitely. And now for Mutant News, Anthony.
April and I were listening to Rutger Bregman on TED Talk, and he was talking about poverty, and so I thought it was a very good subject for Mutant News, because a lot of people in poverty who are homeless and everything are treated subhuman. People immediately look at them and go, I'm better than you because I'm willing to go out and get work and get a job and all this other stuff. And Rutger, he admits in the video that he too viewed people in poverty like that too. So he came to the conclusion that poverty is not a lack of character, it's a lack of cash. He did this study from India all the way to LA with sugarcane farmers. And the sugarcane farmers get 60% of their income at the beginning of the year. So he said that half of the year they have money and they're rich, and the other half they're broke and they're more and more broke. So before that they make their money, they gave them an IQ test, and after they made their money, they gave them a different IQ test, in which they scored way higher after they received their money. So what they came to the conclusion was that they had lost 14 IQ points from being afraid from the scarcity. That's like losing a whole night of sleep and everything. And so coming to that conclusion, he also had a method on how to keep the poor above poverty level and basically get rid of poverty. And it's happened in this place in Canada, and that's where they started it. And they started to do it in other places and everything. And So I mean, that was really cool to see, and I mean, it bleeds out into everything else. Like it's not just people in poverty, but the less fortunate people who are less fortunate, like these mutants at the border and everything. They don't have, so their mind and everything, it's in scarce mode. It's in, and then so I mean, I just did this study. I see these people always talking about these mutants from south of the border that are being rapists and cartel people, and like they sell drugs and all this bad stuff. And it's like I come to learn that, if your problem are with those types of people, then you need to look at your own country, not just your own country, but the police. The people who are supposed to protect Americans in this country of America, they do everything that you claim that these mutants south of the border are doing. I just read somewhere, and I just told April how police in this country from 2005 to 2013 have raped over 430 plus women on the job, and over 600 just fondling cases. And that's too much. That's like, they're supposed to be taken care of by these people. And then you want to worry about what's happening there. Like, stop going after the people who are less fortunate and start going after the people who are controlling the outcome of our lives. Why be angry at the mutants? Be angry at the people who are really doing us wrong. Really truly doing us wrong here. So just be visual on the threat. Yeah. So just speaking on the poverty thing. Just have an open mind. You're not all of a sudden a communist because you decide to help out someone who's poor. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So moving on to a lighter topic, delectable collectibles.
Nice.
What have you obtained in the past month?
Well, see, I went on OfferUp. I was looking for a particular comic of Gambit and Rogue's First Embrace, and I found it along with a newer version, like a whole. The guy gave me this older version of Gambit and Rogue, which I said like they embrace each other for the first time, and even kiss at the end. So I collaged that onto one of my backgrounds, and with that has fluorescent lighting and everything, and
it looks amazing.
It's beautiful, and I also kept the comic in a mint bag, and so to like put it right next to it so you can still read the comic if you want to. All I did was immortalize the front cover.
Yeah.
So that's what I did as far as my collectible.
And you decided to keep it.
Yes, yeah. I mean it's for me. I mean, someone wants to buy it, they have to spit out buku bucks for this one.
Pry it out of your dead hands.
Yeah, because like the last one I did one similar. And I honestly didn't think anybody would buy it for the price, and they did. They bought it. Like I didn't even get to bring it out. And they were just like, hey, that's mine. And I was like, okay, all right, well, I'm going to put it aside for you. That was a good night. Like fucking Deadpool. Not Deadpool.
And so we're at the end of our episode, and it is time for...
Okay, so in one corner, we have DC's Edward Blake, the comedian. And in the other corner, we have Marvel's The Punisher, Frank Castle. Now, let's start off with the comedian. The comedian, he's a formidable hand-to-hand combatant. He's a master of firearms, and he's like a espionage type of dude. Like he's really like a male Black Widow. He was part of Minutemen before Watchmen, and in Minutemen, out of all of them, his motivation was greed and the passion for violence. And then it grew from there. It wasn't, the scene from when he's in Vietnam and he shoots the pregnant woman. Like, he has a lot of heinous,
ruthless.
Yeah, like a lot of, how do I say, like his perception on what comedy is very ruthless. And I mean, as a character, you gotta love him though. I mean, like he's everything that like internally we want to be and say and do, but we'll go to jail for it. He is a fearless guy. Like he's very hard to kill. Like he at 61, that's when he got thrown out of the window. At 61 though, like in his prime, he probably would have put up a better fight against Ozymandias.
Ozymandias knew him, so he knew what his fighting style was like. He knew him very intimately, so he had familiarity with him. So of course if anyone, it would be someone who is
and caught him off guard too. Like he was just sitting in his robe and stuff, probably balls hanging out. But another like amazing old goat though is Frank Castle, the Punisher. To me, this guy gets stuff done though. Like he'll steal whatever he needs to. You know, he'll take money and buy it if he has to from somebody else. You know, and like he'll take an Iron Man suit. He'll take a. I remember there was this one where he's consumed by the Phoenix Force. You know, he gets gamma impregnated armor, and that shit is just impenetrable. He becomes the Cosmic Rider. You know, oh my, this dude has like a really hard, awesome resume, and people come to the conclusion that Frank Castle's superpower is that he can't die. And so the thing that I fear for the comedian is like, well, who does what? I mean, has comedian fallen to a guy like the Punisher? I mean, yeah, maybe. You know, I mean, he hasn't died from him for sure. Has the Punisher fallen from a guy like the comedian? No, not really. Like it has to be. It's usually a super guy, you know, or a big like the Russian or some shit. The Punisher though, he's gone hand to hand with the Ghost Rider, Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom. He's gone hand to hand with some bad dudes. Daredevil. And that just naming the Daredevil off the top of my head, I feel like the Daredevil would have given the comedian a real hard time, probably even beat him. Don't have to kill him, but he'll beat him. So with that said, I mean, I'm leaning towards the Punisher in this fight. Punisher not only can analyze his guy, but he over prepares for his opponents. You know what I mean? And he's a lot of people draw him off as like this slow old man kind of dude, but he's not. He's actually really fast. He's fought the Hulk and dodged punches from the Hulk. You know, as fast as he is, he anticipates. And I think a lot of characters, though they aren't as fast as other characters, they have a really high anticipation skill. Like Wolverine and the Punisher and Sabretooth. That's the only reason why the Punisher was able to shoot Spider-Man out of the sky, because it's the anticipation skill. It's anticipating Spider-Man's Spidey sense on top of aiming, you know? So I think I'm going to have to give it to the Punisher just for being better with the guns. You know, quicker on the draw, a little bit more ruthless, a little bit more stronger. I think he's taken a punch or a backhand from the Red Hulk and he's been fine. So, yeah, I'm giving it to the Punisher.
Punisher wins.
No, I mean, that's actually up to you.
I think it would have more to do with outside circumstances, like giving one an advantage over the other for whatever reason, because they seem to be equally skilled in their training and their and then both a little bit ruthless when it comes to I'd say comedian is a little more ruthless, but I think it would have I'm torn between the two, and I think it would have a lot to do with like external influences, like something of advantage to one or the other.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I'm not really sure what happened with comedian and his family or whatever like that, but the Punisher losing his family already creates this vicious circumstance where he's just gonna he's gonna go after him with way more deadly intent. I think Frank Castle has. Though, yeah, you're right. I think the comedian's more ruthless because he had no problem shooting a pregnant woman. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, maybe more ruthless, but more vicious. I don't think he's more vicious than the Punisher. Even the Punisher would like rip him in half if given the chance. So the training, as far as the training goes, I don't know. The comedian is badass, like hand to hand. He's still with Ozymandias at 61. That's pretty good, even though he lost. You know, that's pretty good. But like I said, the Punisher's gone hand to hand with Captain America, and he's gone hand to hand with Spider-Man, and won. You know,
he destroyed the Marvel universe.
Yeah, you know what else he did? He beat freaking Venom to death with the back of his M16 because he ran out of bullets. Remember that? That was fucking deadly. That was crazy. But yeah, I got to give it to the Punisher. He's to me, I'm gonna give it to the Punisher.
And we'll see what you guys think and
yes,
what your opinion on the topic is.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that, guys, like if you're listening to this, tune in on Monday. We'll be doing a live feed of the Interim Rumble to see what you guys think and feel. If nobody wants to sign on or nobody wants to say anything, we're gonna leave it as is. So right now we have the Punisher beating the comedian. If you guys got any comics, any references, any comic book knowledge that you can apply, let us know, and we'll see the outcome. We'll change it if it's better than what we have here.
Nice. And I think that's it for our episode today. Want to tell them a little bit about our friend Eden from Love Gallery?
Okay, yeah, so we went to the Love Gallery, and I'm telling you, this little girl is going places. She's going to be the president of the United States when she grows up. This little girl is running like 3 different...
Foundations.
No, she's running 3 different charities. And one of them is... Yeah, she has one that's Paw Prints, which right now she's... All the art that she creates, half of the money she makes from it, she gives half of it to the tigers because it's one of her favorite animals. So she has paw prints, and then she has footprints, which help out the homeless.
She has on Instagram. She has a couple of different handles. One is Le Petit Tigre official, I believe. She has another one, Book Amour official, if I'm correct. And there's one more. And
Eden's Garden Projects.
Eden's Garden Projects. There you
go. So yeah, go ahead and check her out, guys, and help her out. She also has one more. It's and I think it's Handprints is the last one when it's about planting. It's about garden stuff and planting and do-it-yourselves. It goes to like saving trees and stuff like that. So this little girl, she's so amazing. Like. I realize selling my art, I just get the money in and like that I sell and I shove it in my pocket. This little girl, I went to go buy something from her, and she goes to her book and makes a receipt, and then makes sure she has her own receipt. She has everything jotted down. She is so organized. And then when she gets organized enough, she came to go check out my stuff, and man, what a conversation we had. Like, she is incredibly smart, and her father, they like tagged each other out, and then I got to talk to her father, and then she came back, and then relieved her father from talking to me. So it was a really great night talking to them, and
a lot of good energy circling.
Yeah, that, like I said, that little girl's gonna be some. But yeah, other than that, I have my massage therapy at Hands of Apollo. I also have the Ludus, which where I train for MMA, teaching you how to protect yourselves and protect the ones you love. We also do stuntman work and transitional, and also weapon fighting. So I mean, if you want to come and have fun with us, hit me up on Echoed Influence or any of those other profiles.
And that's it. Make sure you look out for our video game night, and listen in on Monday for our live Inter-Realm Rumble. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.